total?
Man, I've got over 20 songs out for the listening pleasure of the patrons. First songs came out in 2016, and I put out about, on average, six songs a year.
All right, episode 21, Yellow Colored Glasses. Welcome in, everybody. And as always, we start out with reading a review, okay, for our agency, from our clients here. And I got one from Miss Katie K. And it says, I started using Hunter Mounce agency for all my business insurance needs first of the year, and I have had a wonderful experience. Jake and Michaela are so helpful and so professional. It's nice giving them a call and speaking with them about any questions I might have. Thank you for making my business insurance needs easy. So thanks, Katie, for that review. Yeah, Jake.
That's pretty cool.
Do the clap thing.
Oh, the clap thing? How do we do that?
A little soundboard?
Yeah, we got it on here somewhere. I don't know what it looks like, but
you can throw it in post.
Yeah, we'll throw it in. So anyway, today on the show, on the podcast, we've got Hunter Thomas Mounce.
HTM.
Used to be known as my little brother. Now I'm known as his big brother. So that's how that works now, because he's kind of, doing his thing down in Nashville. So the introduction for him. He is currently in Nashville. Been in Nashville for how long?
6.5 years.
Gosh, dang, this went by quick.
I know it.
Doing all the singing, doing all that down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so down in Nashville, and he is also a first responder firefighter for Hendersonville?
Yep, Hendersonville, Tennessee, full-time, and then part-time in Ashland City, Tennessee. You get to make my own schedule, make a little extra money on the side.
Nice. There you go.
So.
And you've been doing that the whole time since you were down there, right?
No, I just started doing Ashland City part-time this past spring, probably in March. So I've been doing that for probably 9 months or so.
Okay, so between the firefighting and the music,
yeah.
How much other time? I mean, what else do you do besides that?
I mean, that takes a majority of my time, and just like anything that you're working at, you always feel like there's more that you could be doing, But yeah, if you want to be playing writers' rounds, if you want to be playing shows on the road, if you want to be writing songs with other people, anything like that, you can maneuver that. Yeah, you can make it happen. So
yeah, so
it's a very busy place.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into. I'm gonna get into like how it is living in Nashville here, but I think the main thing too is like give people an idea, and we're literally going straight to the whole Nashville thing. So
let's slow it down.
No, well, hang on.
Let's slow it down
because I wanna. We're gonna go back.
Questions.
Okay. What are your questions?
No, the fire department. Have you been at the same fire department, or you already got that on your list?
That's what we were just talking about.
Okay. Well, has he been at the same fire department at
Yes.
Hendersonville?
I've been there.
Because he only talked about the second one, Dustin.
That's true.
I've been at Hendersonville full time the entire time that I moved. I've been in Nashville.
That's what I thought.
That's what actually made me pull the trigger on moving down to Nashville, because I knew that I'd have an income and I could live down there.
Correct.
And not have to take residency under one of the bridges.
And I feel like that's important.
we got good infrastructure there, so if you're going to live under a bridge, that's a good place to do it. But
it's valid, noted.
But yeah, same fire department the whole time I've lived there. Hendersonville, it's been great. It's given me the freedom to do a lot of stuff down there.
So you started in Pleasant Hill.
Yep.
Singing, songwriting.
Yep. For only like a year or two.
Yep. And I remember that. And then you started through the fire department.
Yep.
Here in Pleasant Hill.
For about part-time Pleasant Hill, full-time Prairie Township. So
and then Nashville took you because you got the best of the both worlds.
Yep.
So that's how Hunter Mounce got to Nashville.
Yeah.
That is how Hunter Mounce got to Nashville. Okay, so what's the coolest part of living in Nashville?
There you go, Dusty.
Man, there's always something going on. I mean, it's a catch-22 because whenever there's something going on all the time, obviously it's entertaining and it's a fun lifestyle, but you really got to stay disciplined and not spend all your money at the bar.
I was going to say, there's a lot of distractions down there.
Tons of distractions.
I would get distracted.
Tons of distractions. There's kickball tournaments. There's pub crawls, dude. There's all kinds of shit going on.
Dude. And you think, because you can go working for 3 or 4 days and be off for 3 or 4.
Yes.
So you can go on, if you're not disciplined.
Yeah.
You can go
dude,
on.
I could be on Broadway
it's a Friday
every night.
every Monday.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Friday every Monday.
Yep.
So you said kickball tournaments? Have you done any dodgeball tournaments?
Well, there's a thing called Nashville Sports Leagues, and they've got every sport, and it's just adult, intramural, basically fun leagues, whatever.
Dude,
and
that sounds fun. Actually.
I played in a basketball league there for a little bit whenever I had less stuff going on, and that was a lot of fun. Except I just realized that people that are not to throw shade at anybody who might find themselves in this position, but people that are 28, 30 years old playing in some adult basketball leagues sometimes that don't have anything else going on in their life can really get a little bit too heated.
Serious. Yeah.
And I was like, man, I can't get in a fight out here on the basketball court, so I had to lay off of it, dude.
I know a guy like that. Sometimes, we all get competitive, and I don't think there's anything wrong with an older person. I actually listened to somebody said one time, they said, what's the best way for a middle-aged man not to feel old? And the guy said, well, either start working out every day, do something active, basically, was what he was saying. Like,
Who said that?
Can't tell you. It's anonymous.
Anonymous.
I said it.
Well,
I mean, if you think about it, if you stop moving around, which Hunter's active because he's, you got to be active to be in the fire department, right?
Yeah.
But
Carrying
for a normal
bags and
person,
stuff.
right? I mean,
Yep.
working in an insurance agency, like it's very easy to get complacent, and next thing you know, your back starts hurting and all that other stuff.
Posture gets all messed up.
Yeah, like really, age is a myth in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
When we're talking about
not age, I guess being old,
Yeah.
right? You can stay young forever.
We're talking about getting in fights playing in those basketball leagues. This guy right here. How many fights did we have to keep you out of over the last year?
Me?
Yeah, well, you're like ready to go.
Dusty, I
Ready to go.
don't even deserve to be into an argument on the basketball court. I should be thankful to even be playing around out there.
Yeah, but you were always like, dude, is that guy talking trash? You ready to go?
I had to do that with you. Because you can talk shit. You can play good and then actually talk shit. What am I supposed to do? What shit talking am I got
You
out
play
there?
really good defense, dude, and you make a lot of hustle.
They get
plays,
mad at
diving
me.
on the floor, all
They
that
get
stuff.
mad at me because I tried too hard, but I'm just trying to run around, get me a sweat in.
Yeah.
I could see you attacking people based on how they look.
Attacking. That's an aggressive outcome there. Attack, huh?
Yeah. Verbally assaulting.
Verbally assaulting, okay. Yeah. And Dusty, he can just be natural, and people just, he just get into arguments with being
That's
himself.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
His customer service personality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi, I'm Dustin. Yeah. I'm having a good time here.
So, okay. Down in Nashville, we've talked about the firefighting.
Yep.
Okay. What's your dating life like now? How's all that going?
Going
Dating.
straight into it.
I am going straight from
Dating life was, before I moved there, I was very excited. I was like, dude, I want to move down there and I'm going to find me a Southern belle and it's going to be awesome. And it didn't really end up working out like that. I met a couple ladies down there, but it just seemed like people were always kind of on their way out because Nashville is a very temporary place for a lot of people. A lot of people just
Seasonal.
go live there I'm going to live there from the age 21 to 23 just to say I did it.
Yeah.
Ran into a lot of stuff like that. And then the culture there is very, because there's so much entertaining stuff to do and you happen to run into a lot of the same people all the time down there.
Mm-hmm.
It can sometimes feel like high school too. Like
Really?
people kind of run around in cliques and stuff. So
That's crazy.
it's so weird.
How big is Nashville?
There's like 700,000 or 800,000 people, but
Oh,
like
wow.
all the places that we hang out are just on a
Short
couple
amount. Like,
small blocks, So you always run into somebody. So between it feeling like high school, just because you always see the same people, and then like I said, people being on their way out a lot, it didn't really work out very well. But then this summer I found a good girl, reconnected, I guess is what the modern term would be. She came to one of my shows in Warsaw, Missouri,
Okay.
and
I was at that one. I remember that.
yep, and
fell in love.
yep.
Good deal.
And now we're still together. So she's actually in the room right now. She's
Really?
listening.
She is. She's making sure that we all stay on track here.
Yes.
And don't cut
Say
people-
anything stupid.
Don't cut people off. And
So to summarize, I had to come back home to find a girl that was actually suitable
That's good.
for my lifestyle.
Yeah.
that's good.
You're only as good as the girl you got next to you.
I can.
100%.
I
That's a
can.
real-
I can attest. She's a good one.
Yep.
She's awesome. So, all right. we got to tell a story before I want to tell the story, and this could be at the end, but I want to make sure that we don't forget to tell it because it's that good, okay? And Hunter, if you don't want to talk about anything that you've been in trouble with before in the past, that's okay. So you tell me now if you don't want to talk about this. Okay.
I'll talk about anything I've been in trouble with.
So
no one's gonna fire me.
No one's gonna fire you. No. Well, we could vote it. We could vote on it.
Yeah, we could.
I guess we do have.
We could vote.
So the reason I want to talk about this is because it involves the three people that are on this right now.
I don't know.
And I don't know if we've talked about it. Maybe on episode 2.
Maybe.
I think we talked about it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Darla episode. I think
Oh, it was on when Darla came on for the
very end.
Okay, so we go back a long time. You guys know Jake and I. We've been friends for a long time. Obviously, when we were friends in high school, I still had a little brother. He was just a lot younger than he is now. And you were probably what? You just graduated high school. Okay.
Yes.
Are we going into the story right now?
Yeah, we're gonna go because I want to go into this before. I don't want us to forget about it.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I don't want it to get lost. All right, so
let's tell the audience that we're going to take a little break because we're going to talk about Hunter Mounce. Because I want to hear more about this whole Nashville.
We're
thing.
gonna get all the way back into it, but that all leads to where it is now.
That's why he went to Nashville to escape this situation.
No,
let's exaggerate this situation. Let's
100%.
say. All right, let's do it. Tell it, Dusty.
Well, no, it does. It goes right into, okay? Because you had just applied for...
Okay, it does.
I just applied for the Blue River Fire Academy.
Okay. And you were still living at the house. You just graduated high school, all that stuff.
How old were you?
18.
Okay.
Just turned 18.
You're old enough to know better.
I was old enough to be tried as an adult in court.
Correct. And at that time...
And I want to say that. I want to say that again. You were old enough to know better.
Yes.
Make your own decisions. I mean, when we're 18, you become legal, right?
Yeah.
Where you can go buy cigarettes and whatever else.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
I just want everybody to know.
Can buy games that are immature.
Yep. You can go to a rated R movie.
Yep.
Congratulations.
You do a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Actually, you can do that at 17, can't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could do a lot of things at 18.
Yes.
So, okay. Let's move forward here. Want to slow it down. We don't want to get too fast. So, go on, Dusty.
We were 21. I was 21 and you were probably 20 because you're. So we were also at the age where, you still have sleepovers. So, golly. So Jake's over at the house one night. Hunter decides, this is back when Jason Aldean was real big time Jason Aldean fan you were at the time.
Yes.
I still am.
And he had tattoos on this town that he had just released. And Hunter comes in the bedroom and, I don't know, me and Jake were basically going to sleep, playing some video games, something like that. And he said,
It was
hey,
late, wasn't it?
It was almost midnight.
Yeah.
Hey, me and my buddies are gonna go out and we're gonna spray paint some stop signs.
It was one buddy. It was Hank Hudson.
Okay, it was
Hank Hudson.
Okay,
Yeah.
I forgot it was Hank.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no. Jake, I want you to tell the story from this point on because Hunter is saying he's gonna go paint tattoos on this town. Those were the words that he used.
At the time, I didn't know really what that meant.
I said we're going to paint the number 12, which is our graduation year, on every stop sign we see.
Oh, I think I was the one that said that.
Let's say that's what happened. So go ahead and take it from here.
Okay.
Well, I said yes.
Yeah.
I said something along the lines of, "You should do that. You only live once. You're a boy. Boys will be boys. As a motto I live by. And don't be scared." Something along those lines, right?
And then I said,
And Dust said, "Jake, shut up. Hunter, don't listen to Jake." I said, "Hunter, go paint tattoos on this town." I think it went something along those lines.
It could have been. And then, what's Hunter do? He decides to listen to not his brother. He listens to Jake. Whatever. Go to bed.
Okay, I will take a step back. If you were to take the times that you listen to your brother versus when you listen to me, or if you ever listen to me, I bet you would have a lot more fun that route on the right-hand side, on my side, versus this side.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Also wouldn't have as many fines.
This is like a deposition type thing, actually.
Yeah, but he was always looking out for me, but I didn't realize that. I thought he wanted my life to suck. That's why he was saying everything he was saying.
I could see where a person could think that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't because I wanted your life to suck.
Yeah. Well, I know that now.
Golly. So you, 1 a.m., you're not home yet. And I'm like, being dad, and I'm calling you. Hey, what's going on? Where you at, buddy? Worried about you. I'm at the police station.
Yeah.
I'm at the police station, Dusty. We got arrested. One of the cops actually threw me up on the hood and frisked me pretty good.
Yep.
And I don't know what else, but I just know that at that time, you said, "Hey, I got to go. Dad's here." And then we heard my mom yelling.
From the other room, I think.
It's 1:30, 1 a.m.
Was she down there too?
No, she
I
wasn't.
didn't think
She's
so.
freaking out because Hunter's arrested. I think she was on the phone with Beth.
I think I was technically detained, but yeah,
Yeah. Do what?
I was detained. I wasn't arrested.
Oh, okay.
They had me captive.
Did they put you in cuffs?
They'll do
Briefly.
that.
Briefly.
They will do that.
And I said, "Hey, am I being arrested?" They said, "No, we're just going to take you to the station so we can talk to your parents." So it was a soft arrest.
Okay, soft arrest. Have you ever had one of those?
No. It's all been full-on arrest.
Yeah.
I've never had it either.
Yeah.
Okay, so moral of the story is go ahead and listen to Jake. Okay, so then how much did that cost you?
Dude, at the time I thought it was a lot of money, but they gave me a heck of a deal. It was like $437, I think, each of us had to pay because that was like the price.
Is it like a BOGO type thing? Like
Yeah,
buy
it
one,
was. I
sign,
think
you
it
get
was
one free.
It was. I pay. Me and Hank each pay that. Yeah.
That's not bad.
Because they just needed to get the stuff off the signs.
Yeah.
A little bit of
Restore.
elbow grease.
So you didn't have any attorney fees and all that?
We had to go. I didn't even get a lawyer involved, man. It was.
That didn't happen until 3 weeks later.
Yeah, I got. It was my first experience with this chemical called Goof Off. They had it at True Value. You spray it on the spray paint. You wipe it. It gets rid of the spray paint. Pretty good stuff.
Wow.
And that's
Do they still have it
that's
there?
the sponsor of this episode, isn't
Do
it?
they still have it?
Goof
What's it
off.
called? Goof off?
Goof Off.
You said that was your first experience. Well,
Another time?
You
More
used it
times?
other
Goof
times.
off,
Well,
so.
now in my adulthood, when people are like, "Whoa, what am I going to do? I got paint on this surface." I said, "I got a pretty good product I can recommend."
So we go to O'Reilly's and we say, "Mr. O'Reilly, I need some goof off."
Yes.
And they'll know exactly
Bingo.
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
golly.
Okay. Write that down.
Oh gosh. So there's the last part of the story is when we hear Mom yelling and pissed. Jake here, who
He's-
hasn't, he's not scared of anything. He was scared. He was gone.
gone.
He bounced.
There's nothing more things you should be scared of in your life than an angry mom.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's your mom or another person's mom. I mean, I'm out. I'm not staying around for that.
Yeah. It didn't work. It actually, looking back on it, it's been a fun story to tell.
Yeah.
It's been a really good story.
At the time, it was a lot bigger deal. It was definitely fun. I do remember that night. Like it was I hit that.
Yeah.
Now,
it's all
Sorry,
good.
buddy.
The reason that this fits though with the firefighting is her biggest worry. It wasn't the fact that you got, detained or that you had even done what you had done. She was scared to death that you were now not going to get accepted into the Blue River?
Yeah, Blue River Fire Academy.
Yeah. So
FA-23.
Yeah.
because they had literally said, "Do not get in trouble. Don't
Yeah.
don't have anything happen." So, long story short, you still got hired. You're still a firefighter.
I still got to go through the academy.
Still got to go through the academy, all that stuff. You're
Back
good to
on.
go. Did that get messed
Yeah,
up?
I kind
there?
of touched it. I'm sorry.
We're good.
So we're good.
So yeah, still kicking.
Yeah, and that goes. I mean, something small, literally could really affect you.
yeah.
So
few-
that is the actual serious part of it, I guess, is that you think something is so simple and so small, but the simple things, is what takes you the farthest in today's world, and it can also take you backwards too.
It's a great analogy.
Yeah.
No, you can-
I mean, really.
Yeah.
You do the small things right.
And you do the small
all
things
the
wrong.
little things. All the little things. They just keep adding up. You keep winning the.
Keep winning the day, man.
Yeah. Win the day. Win the week. Win the month. The
Yep.
year.
That's the story through yellow-colored glasses, baby.
The more expensive mistake happened 3 weeks later at the concert.
Yeah.
We won't tell that one, but I had to pay for that one. I helped pay for that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us let's talk about music. Let's
Okay.
talk about the music here. So, Jay, you got any questions before I ask any questions?
No, I'll just keep going along. Yeah.
How many songs do you have out now total?
Man, I've got over 20 songs out for the listening pleasure of the patrons. First songs came out in 2016, and I put out about, on average, six songs a year. That math isn't right, but I've got over 20 songs out.
Definitely not right. That's fine. How long does it take to put a song out, to get a song out? Typically on
That's a
average.
good question.
Well, there's a lot of factors. The biggest factor is money, because it costs a lot to record. And the reason that the reason that it costs so much money is because the studio that you're going to, all the gear that it takes to record a song that is the same quality as the song on the radio, you're running it through $500,000, $1 million worth of gear, and then you have to have all the people who play on the record, which are what they call session players. These are people who've played on all the big hits: John Party,
George Strait,
Jason Aldean, all this, Shania Twain, just
Yeah.
they played on every song you've ever heard on the radio. It's a select handful of these players that are playing on the instruments on them. So you got to pay each of those people to play on your song. So for that reason, it's very, very expensive, and that's the biggest issue. If that weren't an issue, you could kick songs out all the time.
So what's the difference between a really good, recording studio and a decent one? Is it because of the session players? Is that where most of your money comes from?
Yeah, that's a part of it, but it's really, does the guy behind the computer know what he's doing? The guy that runs the studio, does he know what he's doing? And the guy that I work with happens to know what he's doing.
Yeah. So you're saying no one can just go open up a studio and just have the nice equipment?
You got to be a very smart individual, and you got to hear things that 99.9% of the population does not hear. Like I couldn't be a producer, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a producer that owns the studios then?
Yes.
Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah.
I'm only asking because I don't know.
Yeah, and every spot's a little bit different, but yeah. The guy, Kenny Royster is his name, the guy that I record with, and he's got a studio, and he is the engineer, that means whenever all the people are playing, he's the guy who's pulling them all up on his computer. He's recording all of them at the same time, and he's communicating with them. Hey, I think this spot, you could play this chord. I think that would really lift the chorus, and he's kind of coaching them through what he can see from a big picture perspective.
Okay. Yeah.
He's kind of coaching them through. He's getting all the pieces put together, and then once the session players are out of there in a couple hours, then for the rest of the week, for 12 hours a day, we're working on those songs, getting everything correct,
perfectly lined out.
And it's about $90 an hour.
Okay.
And you're working 12 hours a day for an entire week, so it adds up.
Okay. It's good to know. Yeah.
You've become pretty tight with him, right?
Yeah.
I know you've talked about him for a long time.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of there's some guys in your artists now that kind of were with him at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Like that he was kind of responsible for getting them kind of up and going. And does he still have any big artists that are with him right now, or? Well,
so the biggest artist that he had was Luke Combs before he got his record deal. So probably the first 8 or 9 songs that Luke Combs ever put out, including Hurricane, were all out of Kenny's studio. And the reason I actually found out about Kenny, the way I found out about Kenny was I messaged Luke Combs on Facebook back in like 2015, 2014. And I was like, hey man, I'm looking to record some songs sometime in Nashville. Do you have any recommendations? And he responded and said, yeah, go to Direct Image Studio. He'll hook you up. And that's how I figured out who to record with.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
so Luke Combs told you to go.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just messaged him randomly on Facebook. I'm not going to act like I know Luke Combs or I'm friends with him. But back then he was a small enough artist that I just messaged him. He said, yeah, man, go to this guy. He'll hook you up. That's how I figured out who to go record with. And, of course, as he got bigger, you sign a big multi-million-dollar record deal, they have interests in-house where they want you to record with their guy so that when you're making money,
everybody gets a kickback.
Their guy in-house is getting kickback, and it's a big money machine.
And that's kind of what I was asking, because I'm sure there's a lot of studios. I mean, assuming like down in Nashville, right? I mean, there's studios everywhere. There's probably studios up in Kansas City. Like, so what's the different? Like, what makes one better than the other? So basically,
it's
kind of what I'm gathering. It's the players, it's the equipment, of course, and then it's also the main guy being able to.
Does the guy who's running the studio know what he's doing? Is the biggest thing.
How to engineer everything, that song wise.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So one of the things too that what you said about Luke Combs, back in the day and being a smaller artist and all that. One of the things that I don't know if a lot of people realize, like if they like country music and they listen to a lot of new artists, they might. But a lot of the guys that, like, if you think back to, it was Jason Aldean, and he was kind of coming up, right?
Yeah.
Or then it was like Thomas Rhett, and you had Florida Georgia Line, and you've got all these different kind of groups of guys that are all kind of coming up at the same time. They're all writing songs together.
That's what I mean by the high school aspect a little bit. You have these cliques of people who run around like I've got a group of guys now that I write songs with, and there's like 4 or 5 of us, and we hit it off really well, and we write good songs together, and that's kind of my group. So I as much as I was talking negatively about it earlier, I participate in it 100%. And yeah,
no, and where I'm going with that is like those guys that you're writing songs with consistently, and I mean I've even noticed it as like when you send me something, or the more consistent that you're doing it, and then the stuff that they're doing as well, with Kyle and Matt, right?
Matt Jordan.
Yes, Matt Jordan. We've listened to a lot of his stuff at your house. It's just kind of cool because it's like almost if 1 or 2 of them start to roll, everybody kind of rolls together, and that's what we've seen in phases with a lot of these artists. Now you got
something like Morgan Wallen, Hardy, and all those.
And
guys.
Ernest, yeah, like Morgan Wallen is clearly the biggest artist out of those 3, but he's always bringing Ernest and Hardy to open up for him, and those artists have blown up too. Hardy's huge, Ernest is huge.
I heard somewhere on the radio or something that they were, I don't know, like that group is one of the biggest country star groups in today's time right now. Is that,
they're making the most money.
Combined, yeah.
They're making all the money from the songwriter perspective, and
Yeah.
Well, dude, and honestly, it all goes back to even like the 2000s, the early 2000s when you had Kenny Chesney and Tim McGraw that were the 2 main dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of interesting how when you can look at it from a big picture standpoint. Even like when Brantley Gilbert was coming up, he had this crew.
Well, he got in with the Jason Aldean camp, so Jason Aldean cut a couple of his songs, and then people start looking at Brantley Gilbert like, oh, does he have music? Oh, he's got an album out. So then they start looking at him, and then next thing you know, he's in a big studio like we're talking about.
Yeah.
And he's cutting his first album, and then he blows up, and then there's people that are writing songs I know of for Brantley Gilbert. It's just a big cycle. Like Brian Davis was writing songs for Brantley Gilbert, and he there for a second, his artistry was pretty big because he was opening up for Brantley Gilbert. So yeah, it is.
No, I think the main reason that I'm bringing all this up is because earlier at the very beginning when we said, how long have you been in Nashville? And you're like 6.5 years. It doesn't feel like 6.5 years, okay? And I think it's easy like for people to, look at, hey, Hunter's down in Nashville doing his thing, and everything else just keeps moving, right? We're all still doing our own thing, and people, getting married, having babies, everybody that was super excited at the very beginning, all that stuff. Like time just keeps moving on, and I think it's really interesting to point out like the group that you're surrounding yourself with now, and the steps and how long it takes to get to where you're going. But the fact that it only takes 1 or 2 things, big things, to happen to all of a sudden boom. So
that's awesome.
I think that's really cool because you've just continued to just keep at it, persevere, and keep rolling with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that feels on your end, but I know as your brother, I'm super proud of that. That you just keep rolling with it. But
there's a lot of insecurities that come with it, for sure.
Like, what are the biggest worries? Like, so whenever you
just wonder if you're wasting your entire life and it's never going to work out, and all your money and investment that you're putting into it, if it's ever going to.
So
if it's ever going to work out, because nothing's guaranteed about it.
For sure, and nothing's guaranteed anytime, really.
No.
So I guess the question for that is, do you still like doing it? Like, you still having fun? Like, is it still fire you up, or does it feel like a job?
Well, there's kind of.
I know you can say both because it's nothing. No one's going to sit here and say that everything about, if you're a professional football player, everything about that is just fun, right? Of course, there's going to be times where it takes up a lot of time, but ultimately, whenever it's all done, whenever you've gone through the whole steps and got a song, produced and it's out and it's done and it's ready, does that excite you?
I do love it, but I go through phases where I kind of lose sight of that, and I have to rediscover over and over my love for it.
Every time you rediscover it, then it sounds
you have to, because there's always going to be this phase where you're like, okay, no, I'm just going to go back to just doing it because I love it, and then you do good for a while, and then you kind of get sucked into the whole like self-comparing thing with all your friends who are having success. Like I've got a friend who's like hitting it really big, is on the radio and stuff right now, having tons of success. named Priscilla Block, and like that was my first friend that ever really blew up, and that was like obviously you're happy for your friends,
correct,
but that was the first time I'd experienced that. Like that can be that can mess with you mentally, and you gotta debrief and go, hold on a second, like we're all here doing our own thing, and we're all doing this because we love it, and I just had to get back to basics of just playing shows and just appreciate people showing up and putting out music and just loving the people were loving it.
Loving the process.
Yeah, but yeah, you do have to make sure that you always come back to remembering to love it. Otherwise, it'll.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Feels like you're kind of describing life in general, like with.
Well, I mean,
like not like on a different scale.
It's a microcosm of life.
Yeah, in a way.
But that goes to show, like, I mean, if you have to do that with anything, if it's running a business, if it's a relationship, if it's whatever that is, like, there's going to be times where it's like, God damn, why are we doing this, And you got to go back to the basics. What's the outcome? What's the long-term goal here versus looking at the short term in the next even 2 months or 2 years?
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know anything about that stuff, but I feel like that's what will keep you going is one, loving the process, loving that you're doing it, right? Whatever your outcome is, like, that's still there. You still want that outcome, right? That still sounds great.
Yeah.
So yeah. Because it would be hard. Like, I feel like it would definitely be a job. Like, I feel like, especially with all this stuff that you're telling me, with the whole how to get a song out. Because you can probably, I'm sure going out and playing, gigs and stuff is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you're partying and, like you're going out, you're having a good time, you're rocking and rolling. Like, that sounds like a good time to me, going from one city to the next. And, but that's probably not what makes you. Take off.
But even that stuff can
you can run into somebody.
You can suck the fun out of that stuff really quickly too if you're worried about the wrong thing. Like, there's been so many shows that I played where I was worried about, I was so worried about whether I was pitchy or not, and if I sang perfect and if people thought I was perfect, that I didn't even have fun playing the show because I was so worried about,
Correct.
And it's just like a bunch of mental things you just got to overcome. But yeah, it's such as life.
Correct. Yeah, because at the end of the day, I don't really care what anybody thinks about me. Like, they can like me, they can dislike me. Like, if you're just you and organic, like, having a good time, that's all that matters. And if you go out and have a good time at a show, like, if you're having fun, dude, fun is way more better than perfect. No one's going to be perfect, and if they are, then it's kind of like...
Well, and I am like that in every other facet of my life, so I'm trying to figure out how to be like that.
Did you guys catch that reference?
No,
I didn't hear what you said.
Because I was already thinking about what I was going to say next.
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, it's me, jerk.
Yeah, to jerk.
Jerk.
God.
No, I said if you want to be perfect, it's not that fun. Like if somebody goes out and sings that perfect song and they have no personality, it's no fun. I was totally joking here, Dusty. It's not going to be fun. Like, people are going to show up to that, like, oh wow, that was really good, but it was boring. Versus if you go out and have a great time, everybody's having fun. And then I pointed at Dusty and I said, if he's trying to be perfect, no personality, no fun.
Yes.
Boring. Sucky.
Yeah. Jake. Golly. See? Okay. But no, what you're saying though, like, on worrying about certain things. I mean, I know at shows that I've been at with you, like when we've had these conversations and stuff, like it's very easy to tell, like all of a sudden when you go from kind of worrying about something to, no, I'm just rolling with this, and your energy level and your performance and all that stuff. I mean, it just makes a huge difference. So you're 100% spot on there.
Yep.
I just know the times I've ever sang karaoke. If I'm going all out and just rocking and rolling and I'm just smiling, everybody else seems to have a good time too. It doesn't matter if it sounds like absolute dog shit. I've done that twice.
Yep.
So. One time it was just like 8 Hispanic?
Yeah, there's a bunch of Hispanic people, and they were all rock and rolling with me. They had no idea what I was saying, but everybody was smiling. I didn't even know the words of the song.
Yeah, you're giving off the right energy.
And they said, hey, the next day they recognized me.
This is when you were on vacation, right, at the resort? Oh man, there was 10 people.
I think they're actually from China.
Nice.
Chinese.
Really?
Japan or something. I don't know.
Okay, so they were not Hispanic. Okay.
No, they definitely were not. I don't know where you got that one, but anyways.
Huh. All right. Well, goals. What are your goals, 2023? What are you trying to do?
My goal is to play a bunch more shows this year.
How many?
I'd like to play, let's just say 100 shows. That's going to be my goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that a lot? That sounds
that
a
is
lot.
that is a lot. I probably played like 50 or 60 this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
It's got 52 weeks.
Yeah.
Dang.
But
That's too.
I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I took a step back playing some shows this past year because I was trying to figure out a lot of things to supplement my music. Like I got my own podcast going. I learned how to shoot videos for YouTube and stuff like that, and do social media a little bit better, I hope. And now that I know how to do some of that stuff, I'm like I said, I'm getting back to the fundamentals, getting back to the basics. Just go out and play shows again.
Yeah.
Because I definitely miss playing a ton.
Yeah.
Like I was
That's awesome.
the year before that. So I got to get back to that.
And I feel like you see the big artists, I mean, at least what I see, like sometimes, and I could be completely wrong here, but sometimes they'll go on tours where they're going on tours every year or so, and then sometimes they won't go on tours for a couple years as well, right?
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
So sounds like this is the year you're going to do a bunch of touring. And
Yep. And then I'm gonna put out my second album. It's been sitting for way too long, so that's gonna be coming out sometime in March. I got to get a solid date. I just got all the artwork finalized and everything today.
That's awesome.
So I'm gonna get all that stuff set in motion. And
that's awesome.
The biggest, and this sounds kind of vague and cheesy maybe, but the biggest goal for 2023 is to just not. There's already enough things slowing me down. I just got to try not to work against myself. Got to try not to be my own worst enemy.
Yep.
Will be the
Focus on your
main
strengths.
goal for 2023. Have fun, and let the success follow because of that.
Have fun and focus on your strengths.
Yep.
All your weaknesses, just acknowledge that they're your weaknesses.
Yep.
Talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
If you suck at it, admit it. I suck at that. I'm not going to do social media. I suck at it. I might have somebody else do it.
Yeah.
If I'm good at this, just get really good at that and let everybody else around you, which is what you've been talking about this whole time. You're only as good as the people you have around you. Doesn't
100%.
matter what it is. So if you
Yep.
get those people around you, again, it doesn't all. You got to,
Yeah.
of course, do stuff you suck at some point in time, but that's the goal, is to get people around you that are really good at what you suck at.
Yep.
Are there any places in Nashville that you haven't played at that you're like, hey, this is where I really want to play? I mean, has there been any? Kind of go into detail a little bit, like what you're playing in Nashville, other places that you're going, and then maybe some places there that you're still trying to get.
I feel like I've crossed a lot of really cool places off the list. Listening Room is a really, really cool spot in Nashville that's, when you play there on the weekend, it's sold out every time.
Gotcha.
Pretty much. And it's not, like, it was sold out when I played, not because I was playing, but just because that's how much of a hot ticket thing it is. That was really, really cool. Getting to play on Broadway occasionally is really fun. I've got to play at most of those bars. That's some cool stuff to check off the list. I mean, obviously, the biggest one that you want to play is the Ryman and the Grand Ole Opry. You know,
sure.
Those are like the bucket list, dream of all dreams kind of thing. And so I'll be working toward that. But yeah, just
What's one for 2023? And I only ask that because from what I'm comparing is like, with some of my goals personally, like, of course, I want to do, playing at maybe the one that's like your lifelong dream.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I know mine, and this could be wrong, but I know sometimes my lifelong dreams are not going to happen in 2023, right?
Yeah.
So I have a goal of what do I really want to, what's one thing that I think is 100% doable to accomplish in 2023? What's that one for you? And I don't know if that's like a place that you would like to play at for 2023, or maybe just
Yeah.
a goal in general. Like, what's one thing that you are like, gosh, if everything else fails and doesn't happen, like, if I can just get this thing done, it'll be a success. And I feel like everybody always has at least that one thing. And maybe they don't, but do you have anything like that?
Yeah, I've got two goals in mind for this year, and they're
And
actually.
I guess you don't have to say it out loud if you don't.
No, you don't have to,
Okay.
but I will,
Okay.
just for the hell of it. But two goals for this year, and I don't know how I'm going to do them, but I guess that's the whole point of a goal. You got to figure it out. But I would really like to open up a show for somebody at High Country Nights at P&L.
Okay.
And then
I love that.
I'd really like to have a show with me and a couple other bands and promote it really, really well and have a big, huge thing at the Grandview Amphitheater.
Okay.
Which is a new spot.
Okay.
Grandview, like right here? Or
Yeah, Grandview Amphitheater. Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
So, I mean, I love all the Nashville stuff, but like I really do love coming back and doing shows. Like so, some of my biggest dreams and aspirations are like big shows around here. You know.
Yeah.
So,
I think Hot Country Nights is awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big deal.
I freaking love. Yeah.
Sounds like a party.
Well, dude, and the shows that you've done, I mean, at the fair the last few years, like those are some of the those have been some of the funnest shows, and I've seen you play a lot, and you can like whenever you have that kind of, that kind of show, it just transfers right over to you and your energy and your band's performance and all that stuff. So, yeah, that's awesome. Those are good goals.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Well, I know what my question was. Who are the most like famous people, not singers? You've been playing you're playing on Broadway, doing your thing, and all of a sudden there's just this person shows up at your show.
I was playing an empty hotel lobby, and Rob Schneider from all the Adam Sandler movies. Oh no, we suck again.
Wow.
That dude walked up and threw 20 in my tip jug, and he goes, "Great job, man. Keep it up." Figured out later that he had a comedy set at Zany's, which is the comedy club in Nashville. I got to meet Theo Vaughn after his set at Zany's, which was really cool.
How was he?
Awesome.
Let's get him on the podcast.
My favorite dude. Gosh, that guy's awesome. And then I randomly met Jordan Peterson at a bar.
My cousin?
Yeah.
Wait a second.
No, not his cousin.
Oh.
Jordan Peterson, no.
He's a clinical psychologist from Canada, and he's like,
Okay. I have a cousin named Jordan Peterson.
gotcha.
So you say, yeah. I'm like, oh, shit, dude. That's fucking freaking small world.
This guy was like the top person I was like, if I could ever meet anybody.
God.
And I met him randomly at a bar in Nashville.
Wow.
It was super cool.
That
So that was awesome. And then you see random people out.
You ever seen Morgan Wallen?
I haven't seen him out randomly. I have seen Hardy out randomly. I've seen a lot of random country artists.
I feel like you would, because I feel like I see
Darius Rucker ran into him one night.
Okay.
That's just the culture of Nashville.
Yeah.
Dude.
What about Clay Travis? That's he owns that the bar that does all the games.
Sports betting.
No.
Oh,
the real cheap one.
Downtown Sporting Club and Paradise Park.
Paradise Park. Yeah, he owns those.
Well,
right?
they closed that. That's going to be the Garth Brooks bar now.
Oh,
they sold it.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay. And then Titans games. Don't ever go to those anymore.
Golly.
terrible.
Yeah.
Trash.
Or worst fans in the world.
Well, you just got to remember that every time they play the Chiefs, it's their Super Bowl. So.
Correct. A lot of times.
So-
I've actually, we just had a conversation about that earlier, didn't we, Dusty?
Yeah, every time someone plays Jake in anything, it's their Super Bowl. He's the most important person to beat.
Have you ever noticed that anytime anybody beats the
Dusty
Chiefs,
said it.
it's their Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, it is. No, that's 100% the truth.
Even though the Bengals have beat us 3 times in a row,
Oh, we beat the Chiefs.
the fact that they beat us the last game that they beat us, they're acting like they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Did they win the Super Bowl last year?
No, they got
Yeah, I didn't think so. Who was their quarterback? Does anybody know?
Joe Burrow.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I sometimes forget about him too. How many passing yards he got?
He's like third on the MVP race.
Chiefs are the best, okay? There's no one else that's even close to the Chiefs. And there's nobody that will prove me wrong on that.
No, 100%. I agree.
We are watching greatness in between our eyes.
We're having
in between our eyes. We are.
We're having
before our eyes.
our rebuilding year where we lost the best receiver, the fastest receiver of all time. Our rebuilding year, and we're
how
still
many rookies do we have on our defense?
all of them. We traded our
Quarterbacks, defensive end, the most important positions in the game on defense.
Yeah.
Who are our wide receivers? Juju, he's good. Who else?
MVS.
He's terrible, absolutely terrible.
He can't catch anything.
No,
He's starting to come around.
No, dude, he's terrible. He can't get off. He cannot get off the ball. He's straight line. That's it.
Yeah.
He can't break away from any kind of cornerbacks. He's terrible.
Well, we're going to need him.
Who else?
We're going to need him to come through.
Yeah.
We are.
We don't need him. No, we don't. We have Patrick Mahomes.
I know, but we're going to need him to make some plays.
No, Patrick Mahomes.
You guys remember a few years ago whenever Sammy Watkins had been pretty much crap all year, and the playoff run, the year we won the Super Bowl. You remember how
we won the Super Bowl?
It's not going to be MVS though.
I'm not saying that it necessarily will be that. I'm just saying we're going to need somebody, besides Juju and Kelsey to.
Sammy Watkins is a first round talent, dude. Like he has that it factor when he's healthy.
Yeah.
No one on our team does. It's Patrick Mahomes, baby.
Patrick Mahomes. Do you realize though, your Joe Burrow point earlier? Do you realize that he had Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Clyde, who is awesome, we all know that.
Randy Moss's cousin or sister or brother or
son. Randy Moss's son.
Really?
Yeah, he was the tight end. Can you imagine having Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson to throw to?
And Justin Jefferson was the number 2 by a long shot.
Yeah, that was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, okay. Joe Burrow sucks. Patrick Mahomes.
What about Josh Allen?
Josh Allen sucks. Patrick Mahomes, dog.
You got any more questions for Hunter?
No, dude. What would you recommend for somebody who is, feels like they're stuck in a little city or a little town or maybe a big town, and maybe they want to make a change? What does that look like? What would you recommend them doing? No matter if they're stuck in a job, stuck in some, job that they hate, or the atmosphere sucks, or it's boring, or they just don't like what they're doing.
Yeah.
What would you tell them? How would you do it?
I would just tell them that it's all risky. Going to a new place to chase a dream is risky, but staying where you're at and not and hating what you're doing is also risky.
Riskier.
Because you're gonna regret later on. That's gonna suck. And then, I had another point.
So what you just said to me is pick your risk.
Yeah.
Do you risk being a what's the saying?
I don't know where you're going.
Bump on a log.
Bump on a log.
Risk being a bump on a log.
It's better to have loved and lost than to never love at all.
Love that one. Let's go with that one. All right.
That's good.
Episode. I almost said 2021, but episode 21, right?
Yeah. We're out.
Cut.
That was good. All right.
Cool. Cut.